So today we're going to be talking about exploring and finding your niche in the solar industry. So niche is not something that's often talked about in the solar industry. I think in a lot of businesses, like if you work with like a traditional marketer, they're going to be like, you need to define your avatar and figure out who your people are, who's your actual niche, who are you actually selling to. In solar, who is our niche? Who's our target audience? Who are we actually going for? Do we work with retirees? Do we work with first-time homeowners? Do we work with any type of homeowner? Are we financing versus cash deals? Are we commercial or residential? And it's not, there will be quite a few of you who have made all the money you need to make without dialing down and finding a niche. But when you do have a niche, it does make your marketing a lot easier. So first off, we need to decide who we want to be. So I'm going to talk about two different niches I see as a play for the solar industry today. So and maybe this will help you decide who you want to be when you grow up. The first person we're going to talk about is like the solar broker angle. So the solar broker angle still exists. It's not as common as maybe it was. If you're a virtual company, this might be a better play for you than how you've currently been positioning yourselves. I think it can work well. So a broker serves as like the intermediary between solar energy consumers and like various installation companies. So instead of directly representing the installation company, hey, my name's Josiah, I'm with ABC Solar Brokerage. We actually represent quite a few different brands and products. It's my job to be an advocate for the homeowner and give you the absolute best product you can have. Now, if you're a local installer, you're probably just rolling your eyes in that because that's mostly positioning. And yes, it is, but it is an angle, right? So the pros of that, you have access to diverse suppliers. You can work with different installers in different markets. If one's backed up, you can potentially work with a different installation company to get that processed faster. You don't have the operational burden of like an installer with all that overhead. And then you can really position yourself as the customer advocate, right? Your main priority is going to be customer satisfaction. You're the advocate for the client. Since you're recommending reliable installers, you're guiding customers through decisions and offering continuous support, building that trust and loyalty with your customers. So the cons, you're going to have limited control over your install quality, and you're going to be extremely dependent on the installer's relationships with their suppliers. You don't have any control over any of it at any point. So you have a lot of versatility, a lot of maneuverability and low overheads. And for that, you give up control. And then for a local solar installation company, right, you're handling everything from A to Z, right? From acquiring the client to installing it to servicing it down 5 years down the road. Local installers are the backbone, I believe, of the solar industry right now, because you guys can weather a lot more storms than like a sales org or a brokerage, potentially, depending on how they're set up. So a local solar company handles every aspect of the system from initial consultation to design and install. I believe a local installer should prioritize building strong community ties and personalized service. Pros, we have complete control over the customer experience, right? Everything is in our control. We don't like what the salesperson said to a homeowner. We can fire them. We can bring on a new salesperson. You have 100% control over every single edge of your customer experience, and that is very powerful. You can establish your reputation, right? By focusing in your local market, you can cultivate strong reputations within your community, leading to increased trust and customer referrals. Sounds great. If you want to train on referrals, we did one of those recently. And then you have opportunities for upselling, add-on services by engaging direct with customers, right? You can find additional needs and offer supplementary services, um, such as system upgrades, panel upgrades, building onto your revenue streams. You can even do existing products. Like I've seen people do Christmas lights. I've seen uh, security or cable or internet. Like there's, you find other products to sell to these customers you've already acquired, because the most expensive thing you can do is initially acquiring that customer. Cons, you have higher operational costs. You have the expenses of your offices, your install teams, managing inventory. You have a higher operating cost. You actually have more margin across the whole job because you should be making money on your installs. You lose the maneuverability and low overhead of the local or virtual team or brokerage, but you have 100% control of the customer experience. So that's the trade there. Your reach is smaller. You're installing locally. You may not be covering whole states. You may only service like specific communities. I see these set up all the time. So not everybody is set up like to where this is a huge con. I actually think it's better for solar companies now to be focused on specific markets and spread out all over the place. And then in-house installation is very resource intensive. So it requires significant manpower, equipment, logistical coordination, and scaling's a little harder. So these are like the two main niches I've seen in the solar industry. Some other mentions I think that would be worth, right? I've seen some consultants do really well using mom groups to network and market. Some pretty big people and some organizations like Power have done a lot through like realtors or loan officers. You can target the older demographic, right? Like if you sell a lot of leases or have a good product for them. I think dialing in your marketing to its certain niche is really powerful, especially if you're just a rep, like for your referral partners. Like find your people, build that audience, give value there, and network like crazy. Those are kind of some of the main niches I see. Niches. I think I just interchangeably used that word throughout that whole talk. I'm still unsure of which side I want to be. Like I know I'm pecan rather than pecan, Appalachian versus Appalachian, right? Those are my North Carolina roots. I don't know where I sit on niche versus niche. I'm unsure. So as always, comment down below to get a free PDF summary of this training. Check out our YouTube channel or podcast. Like and subscribe if you're hanging out on one of those platforms. As always, you can also comment below, and I'll personally answer any questions you have about niching down, or branding your solar company more in these regards. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you next week.